So, I took one phone call today, and the customer had a Bermina sewing machine, and her first complaint was that it was making a horrible buzzing noise. So this is something you don't need to call me for, but it's really common, and I would say we get a call about once a week about this. So I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but we'll try.
That's annoying.
And the screen changes if you're on one of the newer interfaces.
It's the bobbin winder. It's just the bobbin winder. Turn it off. Make it stop. Oh, thank you. I hate that noise.
So very, very easy troubleshooting, but something that
often happens.
Often happens. You get up to change threads or reach for something behind the machine. Your cat is helpful. So the other really, really common thing that we get called about and people are struggling with, probably not you guys that are sewing every day and have lots of experience, but we all have the days where things just don't go as smoothly. But over the last couple months of everybody who's ever thought about sewing has taken up sewing. One of the really, really common complaints is having big loopy stitches on the back of your sewing. And I can probably make it happen. So I've taken the tension cover off this machine, and this will make more sense in a moment. When the presser foot is up, the tension disc is open. So on this machine, it's pretty... this one also has a flappy thing on the door. But when the tension disc is closed and the foot is down...
It's tight.
It's tight. So what that's going to look like when you're threading this machine... This one will yell at you if you do this.
Oh, yeah.
But not everyone will.
This is the door. This protective door comes down and says that your foot's down. You shouldn't be threading me.
Yeah. But what's going to happen is your thread is going to sit... So the thread is sitting on top of the tension disc there. It should be sitting down inside. So what's going to happen when you start to thread this machine, or any machine, if you thread with the presser foot down and that tension disc is closed, your thread is not going to have any upper tension. And I can fake it enough to make this stitch really bad.
So
I'm gonna make it bad.
We're threading it badly on purpose so you can see what that looks like.
So if you have enough bells and whistles on your machine, it'll yell at you.
Yeah, people are afraid of the expensive machines, but really, look, they talk to you. They're not smarter than you, but they do protect you from you.
So if you're getting loopies on the back of your sewing.
So that's the underside. Where's the top side is the other side.
The top side looks reasonable.
It looks like you're sewing. The stitches might not be beautiful. And then it looks like that. And everyone tells us the bobbin is wonky. It's not the bobbin. It's the upper thread. Because it wasn't properly seated in the tension discs here, you guys. And the tension discs of some sort are on almost every machine like that. They open and close.
So now the thread, when you lift the foot, the thread does fall in on this machine. So this might be a sporadic issue where most likely you just rethreaded and didn't rethread with the foot in the right place. So presser foot up, your tension disc will be open. Presser foot down, your tension disc is closed, and the thread's going to sit on top.
Yeah, so that's what we had in the picture. The thread was here, and so no tension. So that's when the foot's down.
So when it's been rethreaded, it actually caught the bobbin thread this time too, which helps.
So we have white in the bobbin, and we have orange in the top. That's kind of how you know for sure who's the culprit.
Yeah.
But typically, most sewing, you've got the same top and bottom, and then people don't understand. They see a mess on the underside and assume it came from the underside.
So the other thing that sometimes happens is if you put your bobbins in wrong, then the thread from the bobbin won't end up in the tension unit, and more likely you'll see bobbin thread on the top of your sewing. And normally, tension problems show up the opposite side of where you think they will.
Yeah. If it's messy on top, it probably the problem is in the bottom. If the problem is showing up on the bottom, it's probably a problem with the top. Not always, but more often.
So looking at this drop-in bobbin system, the brothers have nice little guides next to the bobbin case as to where the thread needs to go and which way it needs to run.
Shows you how you're putting it in.
So in those bobbin cases, if you've never played with one in your hand before, the thread's coming under there, and this is your tension spring in your bobbin case. So that'll be a little bit of resistance. It's not a lot. It's not nearly as much as what you'd get in a different hook system, but it's enough tension to make your stitch. And when you start to sew with this, the thread will look like it's across the bobbin. I just put the bobbin in, so I haven't picked up the bobbin thread yet, so it's still in our guide through here. And once we start sewing,
Pretty nice even stitches for free motion.
so you can see the line of bobbin thread going across.
So that's correct once you've taken your first stitch. And lots of times when I show up and somebody says, yeah, they say that's not how it looked when I put it in there. No, but after your very first stitch, it comes out of the guide path and then goes across the bobbin. If I come over and you tell me your machine's not sewing right, the first thing I do is just look through the bobbin cover there and I go, yeah, it's not threaded right if that thread isn't there. The other is sometimes if you put it in the wrong way. So there's a very specific way that it goes in.
Let's do this backwards.
All right. Leah's going to mess it up on purpose again. We just want you to see what the messes look like.
Ooh, it's doing it perfectly. Other than I should have a different color bobbin thread, but that's okay. I don't have one of those back here. So, oh, I have red. Hang on. Okay. So when it's wrong, when the bobbin's in backwards, that bobbin thread is loose because it didn't hit the tension unit on the bobbin case.
Yeah, so that's pretty weird looking.
And on the other side, you'll see
Blobs of red on
blobs
top.
of red on top. Also not pretty. But again, the issue is the lower threading, and it's showing up more likely on top right now.
So what happened? No tension on the bottom. So you get little loopies on the top, and things, look how it pulls out.
And then that top, it's not good when it does that.
Sometimes it'll be worse than that. It'll look worse than that. And sometimes it's not as noticeable, especially when you're using the same two colors. But that's just improper threading on the bottom. Or every now and then they jump out. For whatever reason, they pop out of their thread guides. And when they pop out of their thread guides, you know, lots of times it's nothing you've done. It's just a thing. And it happens. But if you know what you're looking for and why. And almost all tension problems can be solved by rethreading. And sometimes, look, if you made a mistake once, you might make it twice. Well, and so you go, I rethreaded. Still doing the same thing.
Rethread again from the beginning.
Do as you're told.
and that's not just rethreading your needle. Rethread right from your spool. Okay.
What are we going to do here, Leah?
We'll just show you the same thing, but Bernina land, because it's a little bit different.
Mm.
So
I'm going to see.
Your tension disc on your Berninas is when you come across the front.
And so it still has those discs that clamp together. They're just in a different position.
So when the foot is up, they're wiggly and loose. And that's when your thread can go in. And these you can go either side of the center sticky up
Yeah,
bit.
remember you guys when we did the double needle threading? We went to the right side and then one to the left side.
So you can do the same thing here.
Foot up, foot up.
Yeah. If the foot's down, that thread's going to sit on top and not slide into your tension unit. It's going to cause a much bigger mess on this machine because it's a bigger hook and there's more thread in the system at any given time.
Are we doing it right first or bad first?
I'm going to do it bad first.
All right. So the foot technically is down. We open the machines up to help you see what's happening inside. It has a great needle threader.
I know, but it doesn't work when I've got the foot already down
I know.
and everything in the wrong place.
Teasing. Go slow, don't break it. Yeah, so you didn't even get anywhere because it had the gears of death. Everyone gets all upset, calls us all panicky. I see it on Facebook all the time. Oh my God, do I need to take this to the shop? No, it's just telling you got a thread jam.
Yeah. So down below.
Somewhere. The gears of death. It's not really.
It's not the gears of death. It's the gears of I didn't move as smoothly as I wanted to, and it was scary, so I stopped.
Yeah, the machine's just protecting itself.
Yeah.
And
So,
you from yourself.
So I can pull the bobbin case out on this. And then tight. I can't turn the hand wheel.
It doesn't want to turn, and people get all panicky when it doesn't turn.
But I can pull that out.
See,
And
it's stuck.
And you can see all that thread caught because it didn't have enough tension to pull back up out of the to form the stitch. So
Gives a whole new meaning to gives me the gears, hey?
So.
And that time, because it was stitching a knot, it just went up and down a couple times, and then stopped because it was getting a big nasty mess. And that's the bottom. That's the top. It doesn't look like much there.
But it got really cranky really fast.
Yeah, because the thread was looping off way too fast because there was no upper tension. And then it got all wrapped around the bobbin case in the bottom.
So if that happens to you, your best bet is to take all that stuff out.
Yeah. Pull it all out.
On this machine.
Rethread. Yeah, you got to take sometimes you got to take the bobbin out to rethread the top successfully. Sometimes you got to take the top out to do everything better all the way around.
So, following my own instructions, I'm actually going to rethread the top completely.
Cut from the top,
Pull out.
through. The needle is an out only. Don't go backwards.
Your needle threaders, for the most part, are happiest when your needle's all the way up.
Yeah, try to keep your hands off the wheel, the hand wheel on the side. It's called the hand wheel, but it's the no hand wheel now. The new version is no hands on that wheel.
Yeah.
So are we threaded up good now?
Yeah, we're threaded up good now.
Okay. In theory, we'll see. The machine will let her know.
Oh, look. Look at that.
It's happy.
I'm very happy.
All right. You're going to screw up the bobbin?
I don't want to screw up this bobbin. I can.
Put it in backwards.
It won't fit in backwards.
Oh, why not?
Because Bernina engineered it so their bobbins only fit in one way.
Yay.
And they only fit on the bobbin winder one way.
Yay.
But you can miss the tension unit.
The 7 series has got a lot of little niceties in it that stop you from doing things incorrectly.
So bobbin not threaded through the tension unit gives zigzag tension like that.
Or you're getting tension like that and you've done everything right. That means you have to
Adjust your upper tension.
make a tension adjustment, you guys. Don't be scared of them. They give you access to the tension adjustments so that you can adjust them, because sometimes we want to use 2 different threads, and if we had 2 the same, we would get perfect stitching, and when we want to use the 2 different ones, we get something funky like this. Then we can adjust it and get perfect stitching.
Baseline zigzag tension on this particular machine is 4.25. A nice even tension on a zigzag stitch. You should see tiny little dots of your top thread on the back at the pokies of your zigzag.
Yeah. Are there orange ones on the other side? Or black ones?
Just barely.
Yeah, because right in there, there's little black ones. Because you guys do the finger hook. The stitch forms like that. So if there's black thread in the bobbin, it may show on top. And if there's orange thread in the top, it may show on the bottom. Because they loop around each other. It's almost impossible to meet in the middle because this is 2 layers of very thin fabric. There's no real middle there. when you're quilting, they're more likely to bury the knots in the bulk of it. But see little tiny orange dots there and little tiny black dots there is correct tension. Because they did that little handshaky thing.
So I've loosened the upper tension a whole bunch. So then the bottom tension is winning the tug of war.
Hey, we got a blanket stitch now. I don't think that's what we intended.
That is not what I intended. I intended another zigzag.
Right? So the tension all pulled to one side.
Yeah, so it's a tug of war. Whoever is stronger is going to win and get all the thread.
Yeah.
So right now,
Does it look normal on top?
Yep.
Yes. So the tug of war is if they don't meet in the middle, who's winning? That's you tighten one or loosen the other so that when you've got that pull, you change your tension till you're here, and it doesn't matter who you change. You just got to be in the middle.
But anything with upper tension, it's a dial with a number on it or a screen with a number on it. So you can take it back to normal.
So this screen for tension here, you guys, it's this one. And when you're in that screen, it's showing you how the tension's possibly going to pull.
So I could take that back to normal.
Oh, look, they meet in the middle now.
Or we could go way up.
And so see, way up from the top pulls the bottom up and go back real low for us. When we go down to one, see, it's really loose on top, so the bottom will win the bobbin, and it pulls to the bottom. So tension, tension, tension. And when we do specialty techniques, you might... Do you want to do a satin stitch, Leah?
Yeah.
So they can see what a technique like satin stitching looks like. It isn't correct sewing tension. It's technique tension, which is different, you guys.
So a satin stitch, you want really pretty top thread.
And you don't want the bobbin thread to come to the top at all. So you adjust your tension so that you get little railroad tracks of orange in the back.
Yeah.
That's correct satin stitch tension. Not sewing tension, but technique tension.
So similar zigzags, but you're taking lots of machines to get satin stitch type tension. You'll take your upper tension from a normal of 4 or 4.5 down to 2 or 2.5. Each machine is a little bit different, but
the bottom is stronger or the top is looser.
Yeah.
6 of one, half does the other.
Don't be afraid of tension. Thanks, guys. Happy Tuesday.